and welcome everyone to our first episode of the Great Con of Cons Rising. A lot of people are checking out the new DLC for the CK3 material. I had planned to as well. This will be going up kind of today. First day of release on a Monday. If you guys, of course, enjoy this episode, it'll be about a 30-minute episode. Feel free to give us a like if you're new, subscribe if you're new and you want to see more of this content. As always, I'm sorry, I'm just waking up. And a dislike if you didn't enjoy the content and want to see something else. Comments are always welcome, and I appreciate all of you for everything you really do here. But we join back in a base game of Crusader Kings 3, an endless sea of grass and rock. The steppe is not a merciful home. Tents get get assembled and disassembled with the change of the seasons. Whole villages moved over a harsh blizzard or a more powerful enemy. Man is at the mercy of the beast. What the herds need to survive is what the herd will get. Who will conquer the elements and rise as Con of Cons? So, you're one of the nomadic rulers of the region of the Great Steppe. The Great Steppe represents the endless sea of grass of the Eurasian steppe and the climate conditions that shape it, and is divided into three regions: Western, Central, and Eastern. I don't know why I put a pan symbols like that actually meant something, or signals like that meant something, but you know. The different steppe seasons depict these both positive and adverse events, offering opportunities for special actions only available during the time and modifying county fertility of each region. Only nomadic and herder rulers take a part of the situation, and the Gherkin represents the most powerful in the entire region. The Gherkin is the biggest threat of the Great Steppe. The Gherkin is the nomadic ruler with the biggest herd and the entire region, marking them as a powerful ally or dreadful enemy. Only the Gherkin may reach the highest level of dominance, allowing them to become the greatest of cons and making them as the target. So a lot of people today are going to be releasing videos going over and playing Temujin. I looked it up. He's got an easy start. Not really something I kind of want to do for a long-term series. So instead, we're going to start out with something a little different as we'll get into this, and our goal will become the greatest Con here. You're one of the nomadic rulers in the region of the Great Steppe. So we've got the county fertility, which is basically located within the Great Steppe and can be raised by nomadic rulers to increase their herds. So this is basically just how fertility works. Okay, no problem. We got seasons, which we'll see, and the effects it has on county fertility, which makes sense, you know, winter's gonna suck. And migration, so we can migrate when the county fertility in the realm is low. They will often search for greener pastures. Migration can only target de jure titles, and the accessible tiers are limited by a ruler's dominance. Ooh, okay. So together we ride. So to tell you a little bit about our character here, we've got Bilgun, who I believe what was his name stood for. Let me pull it up again. Funny enough, I got both of these from a Mongolian, it's like wisdom or smart, yes. So he is the intelligent individual that has risen to power for his family. This massive guy, if you take a look at him. Let's open the barber shop so we can really see him. So this dude is huge. Look at him, massive guy. So yeah, he's all got an amazing haircut. Bilgun, though, is basically the intelligent, the wise of his family, first to rise of his family, so that's a huge thing. And then we went with the house of Bat Erde, which means strong jewel or firm jewel. One of the first names that came up as a recommendation, and then of course because he's so large, I went with an elephant as his mount as a joke, so that's what he took. One day, having seen this beautiful and glorious beast, he decided that would be his mount. So with Chieftain Bilgun here of the Bat Erde house, he is lustful, brave, ambitious, a tough soldier. To kind of keep us still within achievement progress here, because this is an Iron Man mode for those wondering. We do have the Way of the Nomad here, so this is a new perk where we kind of picking up. If you want to take a second, read it, you can as you like. Going with the Rough Terrain Expert and Wild Oat, Giant and Hail, so that way we could be a little bit stronger, so we're not a bad character overall. The idea here today will be eventually going in and making the decision to dominate and become the greatest Con. Becoming becoming Genghis Khan and seeing where we can push this. So we need a lot of things we're going to kind of go through here in a minute. So, goal here is basically to call the clans and proclaim the world is yours, O Khan of Khans, and that though Khans and chieftains rise to deny you, you will become the lord of all under the sky. Be warned, the sign tells that a mighty son of heaven, the prophesied Mongol, will one day make this claim, and once he's conquered, no horse lord will ever match his glory. So that's our kind of overall goal that we want to aim for. Now we are a vassal under another lord here. Ooh, they've changed up the icon. Okay. Iltudberi obeys no one. Oh, interesting. So his obedience is basically low. He has a 95 out of 150 for the Overlord, which is a new mechanic. I'm not 100% sure how that works. We're going to kind of figure that out as we go. So, as we kind of take a second to get into this, let's get what we need up first. So, we need a Spy Master. We need... I don't know what this position is. Like, it doesn't say anything, so... Support herders, okay. Alright. Oh, does it not matter? Do they just... Oh, yeah, they just do their thing. Oh, okay, cool. So what does these do? It's assigned to support herders. Increase the colorful members, diplomacy, herd gained. Okay, so we just get basically more... Oh, it's a diplomacy build. Ooh, we went full military. Interesting. We might not be as wise as we thought. There's a lot going on down here, so let's first just make sure we deal with the basics. So we're not married. Let's kind of fix that real quick. Also opening up our domain, which has more things to look at. Honestly, right now we want to try and get a decent alliance power, I think. So ideally, I think I'm going to marry she has better stats for a spy master, so we'll take her. Oh, now we've lost a member, so it makes sense, which we can't do anything about. We do need a lifestyle, so let's go ahead and I guess pick up chivalry, because it'll come in handy to be able to dominate a few people and get that extra stalwart track. I might go down strategist though here first. I just want to get that extra +4 as well as the night trait kind of popping off here. So we have no heir, which makes sense. We've just sent out our first marriage, and we are facing a chaotic succession because we don't have a successor yet, which is fair. We have some men Gwendi and that are brave volunteer riders. Those already dead are the very first to crash into the enemy and by their ruin draw the foe into a reckless disorder. Ooh. Then we got the torchbearers. On the boundless steppe there is no need for siege towers or catapults, just a blazing torch and a swift horse, enough to set a yurt aflame. Okay, so those are our siege units. Alright, fantastic. Well, let's get these boys set up real quick, and then we'll take a look here in a minute at what we can do with them. We have some wars we can go to. We're not going to mess with that yet. Ooh, recruit courtiers from a nomadic capital. Okay, don't plan to, but good to know. Let's get you all set up so you're serving us. And what do you get for a bonus? What are you, contender? Belligerent vassals, might +3, and a little bit more. Okay, cool. Nothing special. Fantastic. Let's look in here. So what do we got now? Yeke Jaruki oversees a law of the land. Okay, so this is our law person. It increases our legitimacy, which is been replaced with a different icon. That's kind of cool. Sorry, this first episode's going to be like probably 30 minutes of me looking at cool stuff. I haven't actually watched any of the new videos. I've been trying to stay spoiler free on everything, and I also have not yet watched any of the like developer diaries, so this is kind of all 100% new to me. I just knew what the next DLC was because I happened to go buy the DLC and look at the page. So we don't have a court physician, so let's get you hired because that'll come in handy early on, even with little to no gold. We got a Noyan. A Noyan is one of the leading generals in their liege armies, ensuring success on the battlefield. Oh, that's cool. Cow vassals prepare raids. Okay, cool, fantastic. And it looks like the rest. Ooh. So we do have some interesting perks here as we gain some wealth. Okay. Got something interesting. Alright, let's start down here at the bottom. Well, let's look at first legends, anything interesting. So we got Hunnic heritage. Our people can trace our lines back to the families, the Huns, and the founder of our dynasty. In fact, the ferocious Attila who brought Rome to its knees. Ooh. We are the only, I think, Mongolian... No, we are not. We're just one of the mini Mongolians kind of popping up right now in the territory. Alright, so fantastic. Nothing else. Let's see, anything new with the Mongolianism. Wolves of the Deep Steppe. This is fantastic. Live by what they can take and dream of death on their horse's back. Ooh, I do like that. This is also why those episodes, these first few episodes, are 30 minutes. Oh, excuse me. Is because of the fact that we're kind of going to go through everything. So, fantastic. Any new trees? We did get nomadic that we've got, so we can kind of pop in there and see what that is. So this just gains more fertility, movement, men-at-arms. Awesome, awesome. Okay. The punishment of God, herd conversion into riders. Okay, that's fantastic. And then herd income. Okay, so we've got some ideas. Peace of the Great Khan. Ooh. Help build cities. Ooh, that might be kind of fun to do. So, our goal is we're going to eventually, like I said, in this playthrough, conquer all of what is probably Siberia and then Mongolia and unify that into like one big empire is my thinking, and then eventually conquer India and then kind of call it good at that if we manage to make it that far. We are starting near 867, as you can kind of see down below, as we'll be getting into it here in a minute. But let's go take a look at everything else. So we have a nomadic capital, which works a lot like, apparently, ooh, okay, so this works similar to the adventures. Oh, I like that. Okay. So we got some options in here. Alright. Weapon storage. Contemplation corner. Ooh, okay, that might actually be kind of good to get early. Let's grab that. And then we've got... Well, actually, let's take a look at what other buildings we can get in here for a second. So that way, if you want to kind of take a look. Square of the Tumen, yeah. Courtyard. Ooh, I do really like this. I will get the family yurt probably first. Oh, we need the contemplation corner first. Okay. An ovu. I assume religious and a bartering stall, which also would be really good to pick up if we can. So we'll need the contemplation corner first. Being done. So fantastic. That pretty much does most of those buttons. So we have our days of grazing. So abundant grazing is a season where pasture lands are reliable and livestock can freely graze. Fantastic. We can't migrate if your domain fertility is low. And then we have the unruly nomads, which is a whole new menu to look at. Oh my god, what is this? Okay, so we currently have chaotic succession because we don't have someone to succeed us. Okay, that makes sense. We'll take a look at that once we get there. Change dominance. Wait, what is this? So, like, unruly nomads can establish tributaries. Okay, so this change your dominance to limited. What's this? Oh, so this is like our, oh, it's our realm tab. Oh, okay, I get you. Okay, makes sense. And then we have the succession. It makes sense. Okay. Subjects. Ooh. This is getting more like EU4 by the day, I tell you. I haven't played EU4. Not a game I plan to bring to the channel for anybody's hoping, because, God, that game is complex for me. And then what's this? Our succession. So this just tells us who we're dealing with. Okay. Fantastic. I'm down. I'm digging this. So, I think our first goal is really to unpause the game and watch as our Stargazer is gone. Alright. Almost immediately we lose one of our people. Okay, so the guide shepherds and oversee preparations. Yeah, we don't have anybody. Fantastic. So, I don't know where we see our... Oh, we do. Oh, it's up here in the herds. Okay, so we have a cap of herd, which also means we have a cap for men-at-arms, which makes sense. Okay. So, it's not too bad. And then I assume... Yeah, we can just raise men-at-arms and go raiding. And then what's this? Potential raid loot. Ooh. So they really have changed this up a little bit. Propose an alliance. Sure, why not? I always like alliances. Let's be friends. We are an ambitious individual, brave and lustful, so, you know, it makes sense. Ooh, okay, so raiding looks a little different now. What is this? Pillage, okay. And then... Just carrying 2 loot. Okay. I don't know what that's going to transfer to later, but we're going to find out. Now, this guy has a decent amount of manpower. Let's go see if we can smack him down, though, because we have more... Or we have a pretty decent general. Pillage. Alright, yes, bring... Oh, nope. Is he going to come fight me? Please fight me. Let's see, what are your men-at-arms like? We might win. We've got a better commander, and we're defending across a river. Ooh, the settlements of Vasuyugan are important strongholds in the greater Vasuyugan, or the settlement of Vasuyugan, an important stronghold in greater Vasuyugan, okay, has fallen to my raiders. We have the run of vast, man, I can't read today, guys. Vast tracts of land and many of the quivering subjects and shining treasures of chieftain Zuneg to choose from. The troops stand ready, awaiting my command to give them direction. Steal every ewe and every mare. Yes. Yes, fight me, sir. I will not lose, even as the last man being here. Alright, let's return back to our home. We have a decent amount of loot. I want to see what we get for the loot. Oh, you don't want to fight me in my homeland, mate. Ooh, what do we get? So we got 69 herd and 8 gold, which isn't fantastic. So I can kind of see why you need to kind of build up a coin increase. I assume that's going to be a big issue as well as we go along. We're also going to have to start increasing our herd count. So you gonna come fight me over here? Yeah. Hey man, I'll welcome the challenge. I mean, I need the prestige anyways. Come at me. Fight me. Alright. Let's take a look. Did we get any good, kills? No, sadly. Anything from myself in here? No. Ah, unfortunate. What about the skirmish at, Bar Erdain? Anything of interest? No, looks like I'm not even on the list, sadly. Alright. Well, we tried. We should let our manpower rebuild because we are going into the winter, which means that our county fertility is going to lessen. I cannot construct a new holding. That's fine. What's this? Oh, I can raise my own capital. Okay. And then we can't build anything in these settlements, so it's just like a going between. So everything comes from our adventuring colony. That makes sense. Sure, I'll take another. Wait. Oh yeah. No, we're finally married. Woohoo! Oh, she hates my guts. All right. Well, let's learn your language first. That might help me a little bit. You know, it tends to help when you can actually talk to your wife. You know, I want you to help me with my spy work, but I don't want you to kill me right now. So we're gonna have you up there. All right. So we don't have much for gold right now, but I think now that we've gotten that, what we want really next is the family year. So we need 20 gold, which means it is soon to be time to go raiding in, although our men-at-arms are still kind of rebuilding, unfortunately, it looks like. We don't have anything to kind of make them grow faster. Alright. Borgul glances at the mud fields at the bottom of the hill. Those could serve as the outline of an army, he says. I inform my Bagatar as I inspect their battle line, preparing them for strategy at hand. Charge! We got a aggressive attacker. Nice. I lift my mace and lead the riders in a mad dash down the hill. However, among all the seeming chaos of shifting armor, raised weapons, and battle cries, there is a plan. As we smash into the imaginary army on the field below, every soldier finds their place in our line, readying strikes, falling back, twisting reins, and leaping back into the fray. We will rush over our enemies like a force of nature, and they will break like a tree before the tempest. Fantastic. Alright. So this is just keeping up our fertility as it is to maintain our herd, which as you can kind of see has an equilibrium. Assumedly, we just don't want to break that equilibrium. So, but we do notice our manpower does take a minute to come back. So we got to be a little bit more careful with people as we decide to attack them. We want to pick on enemies a little bit on the weaker side, I think, and get us some more loot. We could start conquering, which wouldn't be a terrible idea as well. I might consider that. I am also kind of curious if this raiding mechanic works over in Africa now as well, and as well as with the Norse. So, because that'd be interesting if it was. Alright, let's go get some max raid loot here. You got any actual troops? 101. I'm not too worried. Fate smiles upon me. My wife, Chiefess Fatma, is bearing my child. I cannot wait to hold the babe in my arms, truly. Oh, there's gonna be some nice loot. Yeah, I know I'm not employing a stargazer. Ooh. Oh, I also have a prisoner. We'll take care of that in a second. Oh, my dear Bilgun, you really are learning my beloved Shah's Turkic. I feel so appreciated. You're making such an effort to understand me, Chiefess Fatma says, observing a courier passing by in a hurry. Can I help you in any way? Teach you some words, perhaps, she says. How do you say meet me in the bedchamber naked? I agree with that. You good sir, can you ransom yourself? No. Would you like to join me? No, because you all are, for some reason, very religious. Alright, well, I tried, bud. Good luck. You know, we tried to offer them a chance, bring them into the fold, but nah, they made their own decision. So we do want to make sure to try and get our fertility up there, because we need, as we can see, a little bit more. Fireblood, the settlement of Sarlon is important. Okay, so this is the raiding thing. We will steal everything. Burn it to the ground as best you can. Now, do you have manpower? No, cool. But you're not going to outright... Well, you might attack me, actually. Well, I can fight you easier than I can fight them, so I'd rather just take my chances. Come on. Bring it on. Bum, bum, bum. Love the throat singing in the background here. Yes, more loot. Oh, I was gonna look at that. Oh, well. Bring me your loot, good sir. His capital has already been raided, so there's not really any reason to go after him. And we've had a son. We're gonna name him after ourselves, Bilgun. I am sad to see he didn't pick up either of our traits, but not much we can do on that, sadly. You have 9 loot? Yeah, let's go over there. Let's find out what you got. I love the little horsey animations. It's so cool looking. Alright, let's get that perk. I'm kind of tempted to do this just to build up our knights. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea. Also getting through Gallant will give us some pretty decent bonuses, so I think we'll go for that and then Strategist with this guy and just see what we can do. Yes, burn, catch everything aflame, and take the gold as best you can. Fantastic. So, as we kind of see the greater world at large, I did want to take a second and take a look at it as I pause the game and just see what's going on. First off, of course, as always, Black Death has attacked Europe because, well, you know, it's just Europe. It has to happen. But, you know, we got a little bit of movement, not much over here. We got the Abbasids still kind of ruling set up. We've got the great Byzantine Empire. Kalkazar rolling over here pretty much by himself. Our own Cognate kind of being ruled by a very elderly fellow whose heir is a little less impressive, not gonna lie. Definitely a decent commander. The other guy, not so much. Ooh, excuse me. Some of the Indian rulers kind of starting to pop up pretty strong. And then, of course, the splitting amongst the 3 Carolinginians. As we continue our own little story up here in the Connaught, burning down the villages, destroying everything we can, and seeing how much loot we can really raid once we get done with this. Because I want to see what it will get us if we have a full sack of loot. Dude, you have 10? How? I'm gonna come burn you. Like, ooh, what's going on? I've learned the language. After lots of hard work, I finally learned Shah's Turkic's language. Endless hours of practicing at accentuation. Hold up. We're gonna look this up.
Accentuation.
Accentuation, sleepless nights mimicking inflections, countless lessons mastering intonations, I think that's it, yeah. It was all worth it in the end. During my efforts, I looked to emulate Chiefess Fatma's accent. I'm sure that she would be impressed with my results. And of course, Oga's peasants now respect me a great deal more. I feel so accomplished. Alright, now we will go ahead and begin to romance our wife, hopefully. She is obedient to me, so that's kind of cool. This time has come to let my feelings towards Chiefess Fat Man be known. I want her to remember this day for the rest of her life. We'll impress her with a sparring match. I recruit one of my most senior soldiers and set out for a Bat Erdain Mongols. We practice our routine after each day's ride. Once we arrive, we begin to spar in the main courtyard, a crowd gathering, and their cheers soon draw none other than the graceful Chiefess Fatma. The soldier fights valiantly, but I disarm him with a final flawless thrust. I kneel before Fatma and declare my noble intentions. I dedicate the victory to you, wife. Bringing you honor is my only desire. My sunshine is speechless, but clearly flattered. Why else would she be smiling thusly? Fatma won't resist my charms for long. As we continue burning down the local villages and continue to gather up more raid loot, really. I think we'll head back with the 19 or 22 we've got as we fill up. And also, let's start planning to do the family yurt, because we're going to want that to build up not only our renown here, which we're going to need later on, but also to kind of build up a little bit of a foundation for our own family. As we look at little Bilgun, who's a bit of a disappointment, but maybe he'll turn into a decent soldier. Even more herds, yes. Alright. Romance a rare flower. As my little firebrand, I walk through the Bat Erdain Mongols garden. I gesture at my greenery around us. For all their beauty, there isn't a single flower which rivals your own, my lady. There is one, she says with a mischievous smile, a rare orchid from Pantahara, which is nearly impossible to cultivate. The abandoned temple garden in Bat Erdain Mongols is the only place where it thrives in these regions. Surely I can find a merchant willing to sell me one. I will brave these ruins for you, of course. You find an orchard in the ruins. Yes, fantastic. That's what we're looking for. Continuing to romance our lovely wife as we do so. Let's go ahead and increase our monthly lifestyle experience a bit more so we can get even better with our contemplation corner here. Anything to kind of boost us up long term is going to be massively helpful because we need that military reinforcement as we go. By Tengri, Chiefess Fatma is an insufferable doxy. Oh no. Have you seen how she focuses her attention on a courtier passing by in a hurry? Ridiculous, my Spanish master Inancha throws his head back with a wicked laugh. Fatma is still conversing with her friends, but I can tell she heard him. I hate to see her hurt. Vile lies, draw your sword, Scullion. Inancha draws his sword with a cocky grin. Oh, how I will enjoy wiping that arrogant look off his face. When I am done with him, Inancha's humiliation is absolutely bruised and blushing. He croaks out an apology and limps away to lick his wounds. Chiefess Fatma, on the other hand, is glowing like the sun. You are a true hero, Chieftain Bilgun. You have my eternal gratitude. It was my honor. Of course, as we beat on our cohorts. What have we been invited to? A hunt. Well, unfortunately, it does not look like we will make it in time, so we will not be going or attending this one. Let's continue to build up our nomadic capital the best we can, so we're kind of in a good position there with that. Let's look in here for our other things. Ooh, unpleasant pleasantries. I'm attending a dance in the Bat Erdain Mongols to spend some time with Chiefess Fatma. The mere thought of touching hands makes my heart jump, but when I arrive, I find her stuck in a conversation with Beg Adalet of Kayatakargan, Kyrgyz. Man, I feel like I'm speaking Dwarvish. The apparent man drones on and on, totally oblivious to Fatma's discovery. I will take her place, better that I suffer than her. Yeah, why not? Alright, let's take a look into here for what we can pick up with the bartering stalls. A Pai's office would be a good way to set up some more income, which I don't think would be a bad idea. I'm just kind of looking through. Some of the wealthy visitors for Wealth of the Steppe might not be a bad, or a horrible one either. Allure of the Steppe. Ooh. Upon trade completion from some foreign warriors. Upon merchant arrival from some wealthy visitor's decision, you will receive a regiment of foreign men-at-arms. Oh ho ho, good sir. I do notice that these do take herd counts, so that's kind of good to know. Unlocks, yeah, so we want the Scholars and Changer to get the summon wealthy people automatically, so let's grab that. It does hurt our herd, but we're kind of growing slowly even as, so I'm not too concerned as we continue to grow up. We'll have to kind of take a minute here, but with that, we thank you all for watching. We hope you've enjoyed the first episode of this new series, which I'll name after this, and I will see you all next week with another episode of the Great Chieftain Bilgun's life as the Bat Irdene House rises. Thank you all. As always, if you enjoyed the comment, feel free to give us a like. If you didn't, a dislike. If you're feeling opinionated or you just want to talk, feel free to comment down below. I always try to respond to those comments, and in fact, I usually am in the comments for most of the days because I don't get many of them. So feel free to come type in, say hi, just check in. And then, of course, if you're new and you enjoy the content, feel free to subscribe. As always, if you're big on D&D content, check out the World of Silencia. That's really the only other channel that I'm actually actively working on right now. I'm not doing my Stoner session series yet. We will be coming back to that one day, though. So with that, we will see you all next week. Thank you all, and have a good, fantastic week.